you are. Welcome. Good to see you again. I am Professor DIY, and if this is your first visit in our channel, welcome. If it is a repeat visit, welcome back. Behind the camera is Elpida, and somewhere behind the scenes is Mrs. DIY. Today's project will be kind of very focused, but in the same token will allow you to hone some skills, and we're going to show you some tips and tricks that are transferable to other projects, right? If you live in a house with stairs, like we do, the law requires that there is a staircase handle, is that what it's called? Handrail, to make going up and down safe, right? However, for some individuals, that might not be enough. For example, about 10 years ago, I had a stroke, and during my recovery, I needed more than one rail to go up and down stairs. I needed a second one. Or you can be living with a person with limited mobility, you know, in our case, Grandpa DIY. So today, we are going to install and try to match as much as we can to this, another handrail on this side of our stair. Okay, right? Mm-hmm. In the process, we're going to create two jigs that, while are very important for this project, give you ideas for other projects you might need to do, right? We're going to show you every step of the way, and if we make mistakes, we're going to talk about them. So in today's project, we're going to install this handrail that will make going up and down our stairs much easier and safer. So stick around, you're still my favorite viewer, and this is going to be a very fun episode. So without a doubt, this is the most expensive piece of wood we've ever purchased, right? It's about $100, it's solid oak, and it is matching in style to the one that we already have, and we hope we have the correct stain to match not only the style but also the look, right? Mm-hmm. So the first step is we're going to have to set it up so we can cut 245s on it. You don't want just a butt end sewing at the bottom. So we're going to cut 245s, and the only code requirement is that this has to be 1.5 inches from the wall. So the short part of our 45 has to be 1.5 inches. It's in essence the only measurement we need for this project. Maybe another one to see how long we want when we install it, you know. Yeah. But so we need to do 2 cuts, potentially 3 if it ends up being a little too long for us, right? So we're going to start with that. It is very important that when we cut this, we do not have a lot of splintering. This is going to be one of the most visible things in the house, right? You come in the door, you're going to see this. So we are going to show you what we're going to do, hoping we're going to not splinter it. And if we do splinter it, again, this is oak, it will sand, but the least amount of splintering we can get, the better off we are, right? Stick around, you're still my favorite viewer, and this is going to be a very exciting episode. So welcome to our very well-loved Pegasus. This has been used and abused for a few years, and maybe it is time to be replaced. And this is the saw we're going to use today. But as we mentioned earlier, the biggest weaknesses of this saw is that when the blade goes through here on the bottom of your cut, it's going to create some splintering, right? And also in the back of the cut, it's going to create some splintering. So we need to make a small jig, and we're going to use just scrap. So our piece will rest here, right? As you can see, it's just a nail structure, nothing really fancy. And then we're going to attach it. All saws have a way to attach something, so we don't want this moving by accident, right? Mm-hmm. And then when we make our cut, any splintering will happen to the sacrificial wood. And the reason we attach it is because once we cut it, this will separate. There is nothing to keep it together, right? Mm-hmm. So we want it to be kept together, so the 2 screws will keep it in place. All right? So we're working on our jig now. Okay, it's jig?
It didn't. Like, it has to be backed out and pulled.
Okay. So we're having a few problems right now, but we're going to fix them. So maybe we do need to make a pilot hole, right? I didn't think we did, but...
We can do that and we can flip it around.
Right, again, remember, these are scrap. It's not going to be used for anything else but scrap, right?
Yep.
It is important that this jig is true. In other words, it has to be right angle, right? And the same dimension through it. Otherwise, this is the wrong screw for them. Otherwise, it will influence the angle, and we cannot afford having the angle influenced, right? So even though it is a jig and we're just throwing it together, care must be taken that it is correctly and we are going to check it when we're done that it is square. So we're using our red square here to make sure that we are square and we are. And I don't know, does it have enumerations anywhere? I want to make sure we are in the same. I forgot I was recording, so the camera is just pointing aimlessly. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, that looks correct, right? It's about 1/4 there. You see the little number?
Yeah.
So
it's at the 1. It's at the 1 of 1/4. Yeah.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
So we're satisfied that our jig is appropriate for what we're trying to do. Excellent. No. Again, also will have some holes in the back that you can attach sacrificial fences. In essence, we created a sacrificial fence on both directions, right?
Lifted it a little bit.
All right. You might do it on the other side too. So only 2 screws. Again, this has to last 1 cut, right? 2 cuts. It is not critical that it is absolutely perfect. And now this should be secure, right? Now, you see absolutely no splintering, right? Which is why we did all this nonsense for. All right, you see? Perfect. Now we can see how close we were to 1.5 inches. Very close, okay. I think that's very close, don't you think?
No, it's about as, yeah, I mean, it's a little extra, but I guess better extra than too short, right?
Yeah, that would go like this, right? Okay. So now we have to reset and cut the other side. Your saw, if you have a saw that flips, if you don't, it's still doable, but it's a little more complex, right? And the 45 in all saws will have a detent, so you know you're where you need to be. Right? Now the important thing now is that your 2 pieces are, that looks wrong. Oh yeah, because it is wrong. Okay, no.
No, because this now. That's what we need to do. Because this.
Okay.
Right?
So short to short and long to long. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm doing it wrong.
No, I said yes. Short to short. I'm just double checking. Look visually.
Okay. I just know.
Okay, that's too much.
Obviously, we did that, so now.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, hold, please.
I got this.
the sort is there. Okay, make sure it is flush on your way and just touch the blade. Okay, there. Ready? Yay!
So now
And there it is.
Yeah, so that's the piece we cut off the other end, and it fits up nicely here. And so the second piece now transfers to our first one, and there is no waste here. So now it's for us to make sure that this is the correct length on the wall and go from there.
So we're using a metal rod we have here in our level to see where exactly the top of our new banister will be, right? And that is more important up there because we have a trim. It's important up there because, as you can see, we have a trim piece, and we wanted to make sure we don't need to make the wall part shorter. So we demonstrated to you what we're doing down here because it would be dangerous for us to be on the top of the stair doing it. And this is not absolutely necessary. I just wanted to make sure we're on the right path. So the angle between the rail and the post should be about 45, and it is not perfectly 45. And we'll go around because it's even less perfectly 45. In fact, it's embarrassing not 45, right? But that's what builders do, professionals, right? It is supposed to be 45. It doesn't really affect us because we do not have an edge to touch, but it might affect us a little bit on the angle that we're going to have. It might not be perfect throughout. Okay? Yeah, right on the line. But as you can see, folks, the professionals, instead of 45, they did almost 50 degrees.
Yep.
So those of you that says don't DIY, hire a professional. Do not hire a professional. Right? All right. So we're ready to attach the end pieces, and we're going to use a little bit of liquid nail and some brads to keep it. Liquid nail is not an instant adhesive, so we don't need a ton of it, just a little bit. We don't want it spilling out. Okay. And then we'll put them together, we'll align them to the best of our ability.
Wait.
There. Okay, so do we need to move it this way?
Maybe.
It's all right.
We might have to tap them in a little bit, but at least
Okay.
it's gonna hold it.
And we need to repeat that on the other side.
It's a really good alignment though.
It's gonna be good.
We have to fix that.
So the installation is complete. We had some unexpected challenges, Mrs. DIY, didn't we?
Yep.
A couple of the screws broke, that they came with the kit, by the way, so I was very surprised they were not designed to.
Yeah, it was almost like they were designed for a softer wood
Right.
rail. Right, and this is, solid oak, so it gave our screws quite a challenge.
But they're supposed to be for oak. I mean, you don't make rails from soft woods, so it was just them being chipping out, right? I mean, they're just cheap.
Yep.
To the best of your ability, find studs, and that can be also a challenging operation, especially in a wall that is so high, and there is a good chance that our studs have been rotated or, they're not exactly straight.
As is in the case in most houses, the studs are not necessarily right where they're supposed to be.
Right. So here is our final product without the stain. We're going to stain it to match this side, right?
Yep.
But without the stain, this is it. The last step is to match our finish to the finish that we already have. And as you can see, that is a pretty good match. So you reach for your trusty wood putty and it is all solid. What are you to do, Elpida?
Add a little bit of water.
Add a little bit of water, a dab of water, and you have a working wood putty again. Mm-hmm. This is a nice tip and trick, courtesy of Elpida and Professor DIY. And no, we're not sponsored by Minwax.
Minwax, no.
A little bit of an opening here because of manipulating the wood when we were installing it. When we made it, actually it was perfect, right?
Yes, it was.
So we're putting a little bit of wood putty that will fill that gap and will allow us to hide it from any prying eyes.
And as you can tell, I'm using the most expensive tool there is.
There is no more expensive tool.
Right.
And it already looks fantastic, actually.
Yep.
Very slight sanding with a sanding block, I think. It will be perfect. Okay.
I think so.
Excellent. Thank you. So ladies, what was the most challenging part other than the screws breaking?
The most challenging part was finding where on the opposite wall to put the rail.
And part of what made this difficult was because our builder, like all builders, all professionals, really screwed up, right? They didn't do things right. They're very good at messing things and covering the...
Well, it's just they don't pay attention to great detail.
Right. So, but that's okay. We still found a way to do it, and we are happy with the outcome, correct? This is DIY?
Yeah, it serves the purpose, and when we get it stained and polished, it will match the other rail, and I think it will be a good addition.
You will never know it was not here when we bought the house. So even with the builder challenges, we did pretty good of keeping the two rails parallel to each other and in approximately the same height, right?
Yeah.
So we are quite pleased with that. So this is not a project you want to cheap out on the material, right? This was $95 just for the rail, right? But you don't want a cheap rail, you don't want it breaking, or this is a safety thing, right? You want to spend the money. The brackets were another $25, and frankly, I'm not happy with the screws breaking on them, which brings this 95 plus 25, it's $120 right now, $110.
$120.
$120. And what other materials we have?
We just have the stain that we bought to match the existing banister.
Right, and that's optional if you don't want it.
Right, and we had the tools.
And liquid nail.
Yeah.
And that was $3. Liquid nails were only $3. So this is a $130 project. And what you save here is labor, right? They will easily charge you $500 to $600 to install something like this. Mm-hmm. The rates that the trades charge these days, And that's okay. This is not the easiest thing to do.
No, it's not. It took us a couple of hours.
So if you don't feel like you can do it, hire it out. But in our case, we save a bunch of money by doing it ourselves.
Yep.
So we hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, smash the like button. If you didn't, hit the other button twice. Share, like, subscribe. Let us know, do you like episodes like this that will show you how to upgrade the safety features of your house? And if you do, we'll make sure to make more for you. From Professor DIY, moi, Mrs. DIY behind the camera, and Elpida hiding from the camera, let's build something together.